Chairs No Waiting, episode number 583, the eBullet, May 2020. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at WeaversDepartmentStore.com. Drop over at Weavers and pick up yourself a Mayberry patrol car license plate. That's right, you can get a replica license plate, just like the one on the Mayberry squad car. Get you one. Or you might want to just get you some Mayberry bacon. That's right, Mayberry's finest hickory smoked country bacon. Oh, and it's good. Head over to Weaver's Department Store and check it out. All kinds of great stuff there. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Newsom, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting, and it is great to be here with you. We're going to be talking about the eBullet May 2020 today, and we're going to be hearing from Randy Turner. So some of you may have already... I'm Alan Newsom. Did I say that already? Yeah, I'm Alan Newsom, your host. It's great to have you here with me. And hopefully you have already read the eBullet because it came out about a week ago, I believe, somewhere in that range. It came out on May 19th. So you should have had a chance to have had this delivered directly to your mailbox, your inbox, because it's all electronic, and been able to just enjoy having some Mayberry fun to read through. Now, if you hadn't done that, or if you can't read or don't like to read like me, I even listen to books now. I'm going to read you some of the highlights and go over some of the highlights from the eBullet, but I definitely want to encourage that you go out there and subscribe to it. And there'll be a link in our show notes about how to subscribe so you can get the free newsletter delivered directly to you. There's a lot of people missing out on that. So I definitely want you guys to be able to get involved and be involved in all the Mayberry fun that we're having. All right. So before we do that though, because I think some of you may have already read it and maybe you don't want to hear me read it to you. I don't know. You know, myself, I like people reading to me, but let's go and hear from this week in Mayberry history from our roving reporter, Randy Turner. Let's go. Take it away, Randy.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Cooper Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
The wonderful character actor Willis Bouchey appeared several times in Mayberry as different characters in just a few of his more than 200 roles in television and film. Willis was born on May the 24th, 1907 in Vernon, Michigan, though he was raised in Washington State after his parents divorced and his mother remarried. Some sources say that Willis acted on Broadway before entering broader national forms of entertainment, but a look at several Broadway and off-Broadway databases reveal no indication this is correct, even when looking under the several variations of his name that he used as a performer. Whatever he did before then, Willis made his national debut on radio on October the 2nd, 1931, at the age of 24, in an episode of the anthology show The Wayside Theater. Billed as Bill Bouchey at the time, he appeared in several installments of this show through January 1932, including two with Olin Soule, who we would later know as choir director John Masters. Willis continued to sometimes appear in the radio anthology show, but he got his big break when cast in the title role of the adventure series Captain Midnite, about a World War I aviator leading a secret squadron. The show originated in Chicago on WGN. A recurring character was Agent Kelly, played by Olin Soule. Willis played Captain Midnite through 1940, but when the show moved to another network, the role was recast. It's unclear what Willis did during the intervening years, but he did not reappear on radio until May the 1st, 1947. After an appearance in another anthology show, Willis joined the cast of The Adventures of Bill Lance, a syndicated detective series that had been broadcast for 3 years locally, but went nationwide that year. Lance's pal on the show was named Ulysses Higgins and was played by Howard McNear, Mayberry's own Floyd the Barber. Willis continued to be an in-demand voice actor throughout the 1940s, appearing in many series such as The Adventures of Ellery Queen, The Whistler, Yours Truly Johnny Dollar, and The Adventures of Philip Marlowe. While he continued to work in radio, he made his film debut in 1951 in an uncredited part in the movie Elopement. After a couple of more uncredited roles in 1952, he made his television debut the same year in the anthology show Fireside Theater. He went by Willis in most of these early series, but he was first billed as Bill, just as he had been in radio in a 1952 episode of Dragnet. He was Bill again in a 1953 episode, and then William in two 1954 episodes. Willis's last radio appearances were in a couple of mid-1950s episodes of the radio series The Great Gildersleeve. The next year, after his last radio role, he played Mayor Terwilliger on 5 episodes of the TV version of The Great Gildersleeve in 1956. In 1960 and 1961, he played 2 recurring characters. He was Springer in Pete and Gladys, and Joe Carr in Harrigan and Son. Willis appeared in Mayberry once every year for 4 years, beginning in 1961. He made his first appearance in Mayberry playing the boss of Inspector Ralph Case, when Case believed Andy was incompetent. In 1952, Willis played most likely his most memorable role in the Andy Griffith Show, Charlie O'Malley, or as Barney casually called him, Chuck, a wealthy man, according to Barney, who owned a cabin where Barney and Floyd were held captive by 3 female convicts. In 1963, Willis was Mr. Carter, a businessman who fired Jimmy Morgan after believing Jimmy tried to steal a car battery. And in 1964, Willis was Fletch Roberts, who gave Andy, Barney, Gomer, and Opie and his friends a ride in his truck to go camping. Willis had in excess of 200 roles in television and films over a 21-year career. He appeared in films such as The Big Heat in 1953 and a dozen John Ford films, and the 1962 classic Western The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Willis played conductor Jason Tully and delivered the final line, "Nothing's too good for the man who shot Liberty Valance." In addition to his 4 roles in the Andy Griffith Show, Willis also appeared once in a 1965 episode of Gomer Pyle USMC, and in 3 episodes of Mayberry RFD between 1969 and 1970. He also played a judge in the Don Knotts 1969 movie The Love God, just as he had done previously in 23 episodes of Perry Mason. Willis passed away in 1977. Well, that's it for this week. As always, thanks for listening, and remember to take care, watch out for one another, and take Andy's advice and act like somebody.
Well, thank you, Randy. Wow, always great information. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of the great stuff that Randy's doing about the Andy Griffith Show and Mayberry in general, send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com, turnersgrade@gmail.com, and he'll make sure you don't miss out on any of all the great stuff that he's doing. Wow, great job, Randy. And wow, we're about to have even more of this great stuff because our buddy Jim Clark, the presiding goober emeritus, I believe is the way he says it, of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club, is the man, the myth, the legend who puts together the eBullet every other month for all of us, me and you, fans of the Andy Griffith Show. This is a free newsletter packed with all kinds of fun stuff about the characters and people associated with the Andy Griffith Show. It's always great fun. Now, if you're not getting that, as I said earlier, I want to encourage you to subscribe so you get an email telling you when the new versions come out. You can also follow along over on Facebook. If you go to facebook.com/TAGSRWC, the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club, it's the initials. that's the website for the Andy Griffith Show, or well, not the website, the Facebook page for the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club, and you'll definitely see it there. And of course, there's the imayberry.com site that is the official page for the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. You can go there and get links to, just all kinds of information about the Andy Griffith Show, stuff you won't want to miss out on. But tonight, whenever you're listening to this, we're going to be talking about the May issue of the eBullet, which is the official newsletter of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. Now, again, hopefully you've already read this and you already know a lot about it, but let me go through there because Jim has given us permission to be able to use his content here on the show. So this is our third issue of the 60th anniversary year of the Andy Griffith Show. That's right. This worldwide coronavirus pandemic has continued to make the times challenging. Virtually all of the spring's Mayberry-related events were either postponed or canceled altogether. Ironically, these trying times make us appreciate the appeal of Mayberry all the more. Isn't that so true? Jim, he's got away with words, don't he? So we're going to be able to look at the event calendar that's in the eBullet and see if some of the things that are going on. I'm not going to read through most of those this time because a lot of events have been canceled. So we'll skip over some of those. I encourage you to head over to the event calendar in the eBullet, or if you just go to imayberry.com and look for the event calendar there, it's the same one, and you'll be able to keep up with all the information about what's going on in and around Mayberry. Okay, so Jim goes on to say, here's looking forward to a time when fans can once again gather together in large groups to celebrate Mayberry. And in the meantime, we can be thankful for the internet and social media to help keep us in touch. Likewise, the Andy Griffith Show itself continues to give us the same shared connection it always has. We will still watch our favorite reruns and stay tuned to all the joy of Mayberry. Isn't that so true? So in the bullet, if you don't get the eBullet, you get Floyd's Barbershop bulletin board and event calendar. And Jim this time has a great picture of Floyd himself, says, looking a little shaggy. And in the picture, you really need to see this. It's Floyd, and he's got like really long hair and some braids down the side. So even Floyd in this time of quarantine has been unable to get a haircut. So you guys definitely need to make sure you're checking this out. So just so you'll know, the Andy Griffith Show, the Andy Griffith Museum, I should say, that features Emmett Forrest, a monumental collection of Andy Griffith artifacts, has reopened as of May 16th, 2020. So you can go to the museum in Mount Airy, North Carolina. Please note that the museum has more than just Barney's 2 rules at the moment, and they include A, only 10 visitors at a time. 2, everyone must wear a mask. Bring your own or come prepared to buy one for $5.35. Or C, wear gloves if you're planning to use the museum's touch screens. And 4, have a credit card or debt card or exact change for payment, so they're not having to give back. So there's some rules, but if you can follow those rules, that's A, 2, C, and 4. Yeah, did I say? Anyway, so make sure you follow the rules. You can get information if you need to know more about the Andy Griffith Museum by going to, ironically, andygriffithmuseum.org. That's convenient, and if you need to know about the Andy Griffith Museum, you can head over to andygriffithmuseum.org. There you go. So there's been tons of events starting from back in March, going through lots of stuff that have been canceled. But one thing that was not canceled, and hope you have been enjoying this, has been the month of Mayberry on MeTV. The channel kicked it off this month of Mayberry programming on May the 3rd, as we talked about here on the podcast, with episodes of the Andy Griffith Show, Gomer Pyle, USMC, and Mayberry RFD from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, weekdays, every weekday. MeTV was showing the Andy Griffith Show from 8 to 9, followed by Gomer Pyle USMC. And the channel is also bringing in some of the color episodes and pairing them with Mayberry RFD in the mornings. Now, hopefully you've been watching some of those. I've been recording them all so that I can watch them. They've been a lot of fun to watch. I've never seen a lot of the Mayberry RFDs, but definitely go and check that out. They're even showing Matlock and episodes of Carol Burnett and Love Boat and all kinds of stuff like that are all Mayberry related. Now remember, you still got time. They're going to wrap it all up. The month of Mayberry is going to wrap up with the Return to Mayberry reunion movie on May 31st. So check your local listings to make sure you know exactly when and everything. So that's the month of Mayberry. Has been a great time for this time of us being stuck at home and unable to do stuff. And just to make sure you know about this, the Mule Day in Gordo, Alabama, which was one of the few things that had not been canceled, has been canceled. And that was updated after the eBullet was originally published in the eBullet. So just in case you missed that, that was June 5th and the 6th. It had to be canceled down in Gordo, Alabama. So I hate that, but there are still some things going on. As of this moment, on June the 13th, Leroy McNeese and Keith Thibodeau are going to be at the grand opening of the Mayberry / I Love Lucy Museum in historic Granville, Tennessee. This event was postponed from back April the 18th. Rodney Dillard had planned to be there, but he was unable to travel there. So luckily, Leroy McNeese is going to be able to pinch hit for him. They'll be doing presentations throughout the day. Leroy and Keith will separately share stories and greet fans and perform music festivities beginning around 9 a.m. and include a ribbon cutting at 9:30, guided tours of the historic Sutton home. I don't think Keith and Leroy are going to be doing it, but that's what's going to be going on. They're going to have a genealogy festival going on there, and cornbread and moonshine festival. I wonder if Otis is going to be there. I gotta feel like he may try to go. Let's see what else. There's a car show going on. Tribute artists will be there. Pioneer Village is happening. There's going to be Mayberry style music. So if you got time and you live in the area, you can go to historic Granville, Tennessee and check it out. So if you go to the website, granvilletn.com, you can get more information. Now, as at this moment as well, June 19th, Betty Lynn is planning on greeting fans at the Andy Griffith Museum from 1 to 3. That because of evolving policies and protocols with the pandemic, before visiting, you'd want to confirm that Betty is still scheduled. So please visit it's andygriffithmuseum.org or give them a call. The number is in the eBullet if you need to find out to make sure that it's still going to be happening. All right. Karen Knotts is doing her Tied Up in Knots stage show on June the 20th at Blue Gate Music Hall in Shipshewana. I hope I said that right. Indiana. It's at 8 p.m. and tickets are on sale. The doors are going to open at 6:30 and the show starts at 7. It's going to have dinner. We're going to have dinner there. The show starts at 8, but the dinner starts at 7. Oh, that's good. So if you want to find out information about Karen's show, it's called The Blue Gate, altogether.com. You can go and find out more about that there. Rodney Dillard is going to be performing at Frankfurt Bluegrass Festival in Frankfurt, Illinois. That's going to be July the 11th and 12th. So information is in the eBullet if you'd like to go and check out more information. And Betty, again, is planned in July the 17th. She's planning to be at the Mayberry Museum signing an autograph in July as well. Now, July 17th through the 19th is the 8th annual Mayberry Meetup in Mount Airy, North Carolina. Now, what we do at that event, that is the Spycast, basically, that has kind of got this thing going. And fans of the show gather together, and in the evenings, we gather over at the Mayberry Motor Inn and watch episodes of the Andy Griffith Show on a big screen projected so we can watch it together and visit together. We are still planning to have that event And it's a small event anyway. There's a couple of 100 people, 150 people have been coming the last few years. But this is the 8th year. We're planning to be there. I think we can do it safely. It's going to be outside, so everybody can kind of separate a little bit. And if we need to, we should be able to be safe. And if you don't feel good about coming, please don't feel like you need to. But if you do, this might be a first chance for us to get together as Mayberry fans this year, nearly. It's been since George Lindsay Film Festival. That was the last real Mayberry type thing that we were able to go to. So it should be good. There's information in the eBullet about the event. So if you'd like to know about it, head over there and check it out. And make sure you get a room somewhere. I don't know if the Motor Inn has any more rooms. So we're still planning to be there July 17th through the 19th. If we can't do that, there will be other arrangements made for us to do something online that'll be in the form of some kind of an online meetup. But we're praying that we get to meet together and see everybody. Now, on that same weekend, so Betty Lynn should be there on the 17th, hopefully on the 18th of that same weekend in Mount Airy, North Carolina. The Mayberry 101 author, Neil Brower, will be presenting his Summertime Professor Brower's lecture on about the Andy Griffith Show on Hot Rod Otis. That'll be at 2 p.m. on that Saturday at the Andy Griffith Museum Theater in Mount Airy. You can get in there if you've already bought tickets to be in the museum. The tickets in the museum are $8 for adults and $6 for age 12 and under. Okay, so andygriffithmuseum.org has that information. Karen Knotts on August 14th will be doing her Tied Up in Knots show in Sherman Oaks at the Wildfire Theater in Sherman Oaks, California. So that's another one for you to check out. There's more going on. I'm going to skip ahead to Mayberry Days. Mayberry Days is still planned for September 21st through the 27th. Yeah. From the 21st to the 27th is the 31st annual Mayberry Days in Mount Airy, North Carolina, celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Andy Griffith Show. Special guests have already confirmed, and some of them are Betty Lynn, Thelma Lou, Darling Boy, Rodney Dillard, and the Dillard Band are going to be there. Ronnie Shell, he was in 2 episodes of the Andy Griffith Show, and plus he was Duke Slater on Gomer Pyle USMC. Joy Ellison will be there. She was Effie Muggins, Mary Wiggins, and others. Karen Knotts is planning to be there. And there may still be others. Those are just ones that have definitely confirmed. There's a Mayberry Golf Tournament, as you know of, hopefully. The Professor Brower's lecture. Michael Hoover, who does Memories of Elvis. He's a great Elvis. And we're going to have T. Graham Brown and Colin Ray are going to be there. James Gregory, the funniest man in America. Folks, there's just so much going on. You need to go and check all this out by heading over to mayberrydays.org to find out what's going on. Or you can go to the eBullet and follow the link from there. There's just so much going on. Have a great time. September the 30th through October the 3rd, Rodney Dillard and the Dillard Band are going to be performing at the 10th annual John Hartford Memorial Festival in Bean Blossom, Indiana. Okay, so it's hartfordfest.com if you want more information. The October the 30th will be the 60th, October the 30th. October 3rd will be the 60th anniversary of the very first airing of the Andy Griffith Show. The very first episode aired October 3rd, 60 years ago. Wow, this year. Woo, that's going to be great. You can celebrate along even after that event if you are going with us on the Mayberry Cruise. The Mayberry Cruise is from November 1st through the 7th, and Clint Howard is our special guest for Cruise to Mayberry number 15. Oh, so there's information in the eBullet if you'd like more information about the Mayberry Cruise. Oh, wow, there's so much going on in the eBullet. Let's hear a little bit of news from cast and crew. Ron Howard that's Opie. You know that, right? If you don't, you need to go back and do some remedial podcast listening. But Ron Howard is currently directing a documentary about Jose Andres, the world central kitchen chef who does amazing outreach feeding people in times of crisis, from earthquakes to wildfires to the current pandemic. Co-produced with Ron's Imagine Entertainment, the documentary is being made for National Geographic Documentary Films, for which Ron has already directed Rebuilding Paradise, during the filming of which Ron first saw Chef Andres and his team in action. Ron is also executive producer of Genius, the Nat Geo series, whose third season is about Aretha Franklin, has been delayed because of the pandemic. As with most productions in Hollywood right now, the square wheels are also on Ron's development of George Lucas's Willow TV series that's based on the 1988 film, which Ron directed for Lucas. The series is being developed for potential use by the Disney Plus channel. Oh, I hope that happens. Ron's Hillbilly Elegy has been completed, and is currently expected for release out by Netflix in November. So there's something to be watching for. Ron is signed on to direct The Fixer, a movie based on a true story about CIA-related and Chicago mob-linked plot to kill Fidel Castro during the Cold War. Ron's Imagine Entertainment is also a producer for the film for Paramount Pictures. Man, Ron Howard, he just doesn't have anything to do, does he? And Ron is set to direct 13 Lives, a film about the famous cave rescue of a group of boys and their soccer coach down in Thailand back in 2018. Imagine's interest in adapting the film of Mad Magazine's iconic Spy versus Spy comic also appears to once again be finding its way to the production front burner. Well, Ron, like I said, he just has nothing to do. This is not all. We're still Ron Howard. Meanwhile, Imagine Documentaries co-produced Dads. That's the name of it, a movie. A joyful exploration of contemporary fatherhood. It was directed by some lady named Bryce Dallas Howard. Bryce. That seems familiar. That's Ron and wife Cheryl's eldest child. What a surprise. Ron is interviewed in the film and talks about his own father, Rance, and fatherhood in Mayberry. Other well-known stars are also interviewed in the film, which premiered at the Toronto Film Festival last year and will have a worldwide release on June 19th, the Friday preceding Father's Day, on Apple TV+. Oh, wow, that'd be neat to see. As a side note, I saw Bryce. She actually directed some of the episodes of the Star Wars series that's on Disney+, The Mandalorian. So I've seen her. She directed some of those. That was interesting to me. Back to the Bullet. Betty Lynn continues to hunker down at home like everybody else. That's Thelma Lou, in case you didn't realize. She reports that she's doing just fine. Her next scheduled appearance to greet fans and sign autographs at the Andy Griffith Museum would be June the 19th. We're still listing that date on our event calendar, as I mentioned earlier, but an official determination about her participation will be made closer to the date, so be sure to check and make sure. Rodney Dillard, the guitar playing Darlin' Boy, and his current Dillard's Band Incarnation released their new single, Earthman, on April 22nd. That was Earth Day. The timely tune has been well received by fans and music critics and is available at the usable places that you can download songs. Rodney has been juggling his schedule as some of the festivals figure out new dates for their events, and depending on his doctor's travel restrictions on him and treatment of an infection that he had in his ears, ouch, that hurts. Rodney has one festival and two in September, including Mayberry Days, with his full band. And the Mayberry event calendar has more information about all that. Maggie Peterson Mancuso, Charlene Darlin herself, continues to recover well at home from recent health setbacks. She has once again expressed appreciation to all those who have provided assistance through the GoFundMe page, set up and still active, by the way, to help out with the considerable uncovered medical bills that she has incurred in the past year. Maggie posted this message earlier this month. This is Maggie. Words could never express my gratitude to all my friends and fans. You have touched my heart with your generous support. Thank you. The kindness and best wishes sent my way have had the desired effect. I'm getting better. My ankle is healing well, and I'm building my strength every day. Maggie adds, my shoulders continue to cause me great problems, and I have little use of my arms. Surgery could be the next step. Your generosity has provided some home health care and help with medical bills, which has allowed me to move back to our house. Being with Gus is a blessing. After being away for 4 months, there's truly no place like home. And it is all because of you. God bless you. All we can add is this. That's our darling person. That's what Jim went on to say. Newlywed Margaret Carey, that was Mayberry's Beth Muggins and Helen Scobie, and Bob Boak, that's her new husband, are almost completely settled into their new home in Florida after a move from California and from his move from South Carolina. You can be sure they'll be busting out and making the Mayberry and Disney related appearances and who knows what all, just as soon as it's deemed safe to do so. Depending on restrictions of travel and gatherings related to coronavirus, some filming of Mayberry Man movie might begin later this summer up in Indiana. The other key location for filming is expected to be in and around Mount Airy during Mayberry Days in September. All right. So several actors and children are expected to appear in the movie, which is being spearheaded by Stark and Court Howell, sons of Hoke Howell, Mayberry's Dud Wash, and Greg Shell, son of Ronnie Shell, which mentioned before was Duke Slater and was in a couple of episodes of the Andy Griffith Show. The film, which has been funded largely by donations from fans, some of whom will be in the movie with on-screen appearances, is still expected to release as originally planned sometime in 2021. Well, that's all we have for news from cast and crew. There's so much in the eBullet. I definitely want to encourage you. Jim has information about people that have passed away. I'm not going to read these through because this is actually a character, an actor that appeared in Gomer Pyle, mostly. Still, I've condolences to his family. But there's so much information in here. There's a brand new chapter of the Andy Griffith Show. We want a Rerun Watchers Club that I want to welcome. It's Mayberry in the Villages, Florida. Welcome to the fold, folks. Good to have you with us. And of course, the eBullet also has all kinds of stuff from Weavers, merchandise, brand new T-shirts. Miss Crump's reading this month is the 60th anniversary edition of Aunt Bee's Mayberry Cookbook. You might want to check that out and get you a Barney bandana because you can use that as a face cover. Yeah, you can tie it around your face. So there's a little bit of chapter news. Let's see what's going on with some of the chapters. Most of the chapters have been staying home and obeying all the rules. So we haven't had very many gatherings or anything to report. With events including the Mayberry and the Midwest Festival being canceled, gatherings of multiple chapters and large groups of fans just haven't really been happening. We're all hoping for safe opportunities to gather again soon. Okay, so July's annual Mayberry meetup in Mount Airy is likely to be one of the first gatherings on the horizon. In the meantime, MeTV's Month of Mayberry is offering us fans a sense of community and being able to watch special episodes of the Andy Griffith Show and other Mayberry-related programming at the same time as other fans throughout the month. And, that's been really fun because I know that some of you guys are watching, that you're watching it when I'm watching it, and it just makes it fun to kind of talk about it after we've seen them. It's kind of fun. At least one chapter has found an outlet to keep their Mayberry mojo going. While sheltering at home during the pandemic, Blood Brothers from Macon, Missouri, is that right? Yeah. Has a subchapter that they call their Mayberry Card Guild. which makes Mayberry-esque greeting cards. Oh, isn't that neat? Members Sarah and Tim Clark made 50 Easter cards that they delivered to the local nursing home. And member Lola Rist made a gift bag of greeting cards that she donated to the nursing home residents. It's just a Mayberry way to spread a little sunshine every day. Isn't that nice? Keith Brown, also known as Colonel Harvey, the tribute artist, and his Trivialities chapter in Pauley Island, South Carolina, they've created the Mayberry Quarantine Trivia 2020. It's been a fun online test of Mayberry trivia with different achievement levels and stuff that you can get. If you've been online with us, they've been in some of the Facebook groups. You'll be able to see those links. And I will try to put a link to each one of them in our show notes. So there's, I think, 7 of them. So we'll put a link to all the trivia so you can get to those. And you can take the trivia contest yourself. All right. So he's done a great job, and you get different levels of proficiency. Think of it sort of as like a homeschooling. It's like a homeschool way to challenge your Mayberry trivia skills. For each level you pass, you receive a virtual graduation certificate, and it's really nice. It's they're suitable for framing. So we'll put those and have those links on there as well. Friends, again, there is so much happening in and around the Mayberry community. I definitely want to encourage you to head out there and check it out. If you're interested in the eBullet, there will be a link in our show notes to make sure that you saw. Now, as we get out of here, actually, the eBullet, at the end of the eBullet, Jim stuck this little letter in here that you're just not going to believe. I'm going to read some of it. He says here, sheltering at home the past few weeks has provided the Andy Griffith Show Rerunners Club HQ with a chance to sort through our archives and rediscover some gems. He found a 1994 letter from the Andy Griffith Show writer, Harvey Bullock. He sent a response. This was in response to Jim asking Harvey if he could verify the spelling of names in the scripts as they were updating at the time. Jim and Ken Beck were updating the Andy Griffith Show book for its 35th anniversary edition. Okay, so let me try to read this to you. If you guys didn't see this, this is really cool. So let me try to read this for you. All right. So this is from August 8th, 1994. It says, "Dear James," it was to Jim, dashing this back to you in case the old deadline nears. Obviously, I can only list info in the scripts that I have. Many changes have been made on the set." Okay, so this is him telling what happened after they did it. So Jim had a question about, number 1, big city. That was one of them. He says, "You are correct. C.J. Hassler was the jewel thief," and he spelled it out the way he showed it to be spelled. "The hotel detective, played by Alan Melvin, I believe, was Tony Bardoli." So Jim is confirming how to spell these things. "The cow thief," in that episode, I have only one name for the lady whose cow was stolen. And he says the lady's name was Weddy, W-E-D-D-Y. And for the dog, he has either Mac, spelled M-A-C, or Mac, spelled M-A-C-K. When it left my typewriter, so the dog's name was either Mac or Mac, but he said when it left my typewriter, its name was Violet. So Violet was the dog. Isn't that interesting? In the filling station, that's the name of the episode there. Thieves are Jed Hansen and Prothro Hansen. Jed and Prothro. In the English valet, I had Malcolm's ex-employer as Colonel Doppingham, Droopingham, Droopingham, Droppingham. It's probably an M. It might have been a little bit too much for Aaron Rubin. That's what he said. So it wasn't the name he actually used. In the rivals, McGinnis is correct for what you have. McGinnis. Okay. That was a tree farmer, he says. Old friend of Barney's is Vicky Harms in that episode. Also the name of my niece. So Harvey's niece is named Vicky Harms. Hey, there's some good trivia for you if you didn't already know it. Think I forgot, and also, I can't read this. Her name, for Olive. I can't read it. So if you can figure this out, Olive's girlfriend. It says something about girlfriend here. Anyway, so there's actually a handwritten note. If you can see it there, maybe you guys can make it out. It's hard to read. In Haunted House episode, the spelling is Rimshaw, R-E-M-S-H-A-W, the Rimshaw House. So he spelled out Rimshaw. Anyway, I just thought this was interesting. Number 7 was Aunt Bee's romance. The names of Aunt Bee's friends that she thinks may have written her from Capital City. Remember, she's got the letter. She won't. The names of her friends that she thinks may have written her from Capital City was Miss Deacon. Miss Deacon was one of my mother's close friends in Bringington, mother of an actor, Richard Deacon. Okay, so that's interesting. So that was one of the ladies at Aunt B. There was Donna Forbes, Frida Aiken, which was one of Harvey's neighbors in Tarzana, California. The Sedwicks are Gertrude Turner. When my father became a widower, this is a note from Harvey, Gertrude Turner. When my father became a widower, this was his best girl. So he started dating this lady. Isn't this cool stuff? Number 8, it's Chief Noogatuck with a G in there. It's Noogatuck with a G. And I hope this comes your way. Isn't that right? He said, I hope you get to come our way sometime, Jim. Now that would really make the trees nice and full. So Jim Clark, thank you for sharing this letter. What a gem, G-E-M, to find in our eBullet this month. So wow, thank you. Friends, I have talked way too long this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. There is so much more in the eBullet. If you have opportunity to go and check that out, you have really got to go and do it. And make sure you don't miss out on all this great stuff that Jim Clark is doing for us in and around the Andy Griffith Show. Same with Randy Turner. You can email him at turnersgrade@gmail.com. Folks, there is just so much going on. If you'll remember last week, Stark Howell talked about doing a behind-the-scenes episode over at for the Mayberry Man movie. He did one. He did it. So if you go and check out, if you go to Mayberry Man Movie at Facebook and just search for it, and you'll find it, and you'll find a link in there to Behind the Scenes, Episode 1 with Ronnie Shell. Definitely something else you want to go check out as you're leaving out of here. Head over to Facebook and check it out. It's a great job, Ronnie. It was a lot of good information that I know you'd enjoy. Friends, there is just so much, even if we're stuck home and can't get out and do stuff. There's a month of Mayberry going on. There's all this going on the internet for us to enjoy and have fun with. Mayberry is still alive and well. So let's keep it that way. I'd like to hear from you. Give me a call at 888-684-8415. Email me at floyd@imayberry.com. And just get out there and tell people about the show, too. Let them know that all this is still happening. We're still having a lot of fun with a show that's 60 years old. Wow. Amazing, amazing. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time right here on Two Chairs.